9 day 1 uh, notes. So here we go. Let's get rolling. So obviously here's just a thing about spring break. So we'll jump past that one in terms of working on the content. Okay, so we're going to eventually do some work here, but we're going to eventually do it in reverse for what we did from Unit 8. So first, let's review from Unit 8. It's been spring break. We need to make sure you refresh our memory from, 10 days ago. So if we have this scenario here, we're going to use distributive property to distribute in here. So 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times 1 is 2x. So remember, you distribute in there. We take this term, multiply by both terms in. You multiply the coefficients, and then you add the exponents, okay? So just remembering those exponent rules from a couple of units ago, all right? So those will still apply. All right, so there we go. All right. So now, same thing, just remember, oh yeah, product. Product means multiply, right? So we're going to multiply in. So here's what we got. We got right here. And now we're going to go distribute. So 7 times 8, 56. And x times x, well, x times x, remember when you ask to multiply exponents, you actually add them, x squared. 7 times 7, 49. And then I've got my x here. Well, there's nothing here, so it's just going to stay as an x, right? So then there we go. And remember, each time we want this in standard forms. That's in standard form because it goes from highest to lowest exponent. So that's what that should look like. Okay? All right. Awesome. All right, so then as we go in here, now we need to start thinking about, well, what happens if we go the other direction? Okay, so remember the first screen we did, that was the for real screen number 2. We had 2x, we were multiplying times x plus 1, and that gave us 2x squared plus 2x. So what if we start with this and go the other direction? So use what we know about numbers, answer these questions. Okay, so let's fill in this blank. So here this says 12x minus 6 equals 3, parentheses 4x minus, well, okay, hold on a second. Isn't this telling us the answer if we distribute, right? Like 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times what is 6? Oh, well, 3 times 2, right? Okay, so now let's keep it rolling, and we're starting to think about doing this in the reverse way. So what if we start with this? What would go here? Well, then we need 10x. This is 5 times something x. Well, 5 times what is 10? 5 times, oh yeah, 5 times 2. All right, down here. Now, here we have x, so we need x squared. What do you multiply x by to get x squared? Oh, well, times x, right? Okay, so now we're starting to do these in reverse. So what we want to do is start with this and take out what's called the GCF, the greatest common factor. So we're going to divide that out, and that means the biggest thing that can divide into both of these terms. And then we write what's left over. So let's show some examples like that. Okay, so here we see negative 9b squared plus 2b. Okay, so there's no number that goes into 9 and 2, but don't they have a b in common? So what we're going to do is basically divide out a b. So I'm going to put a b on the outside, okay, and now, well, negative 9, there was no number that we took out, so it's still negative 9. And when you're asked to divide with exponents, what do? You subtract them. Well, the 2, again, there was no number there, so it's just a 2. Well, 1 over 1, those are going to cancel, so we're just going to be left with the 2 here. So then this is what we should have. b, and then negative 9b plus 2. So let's type that guy in. b, parentheses, negative 9b plus 2. Oops. Okay. So when we do that, notice we're taking out whatever it has in common, what's called the GCF. Now, in this case, it was only a variable. But it doesn't have to be. Let's look at it in a different way. So here, we're trying to find the GCF. So I see negative 9c minus 9. Well, what can we take out here? How about negative 9, right? Can't negative 9 divide into both of those? So negative 9c divided by negative 9 is just c. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1. And there we go. So the last question, we took out a variable. In this question, we took out an integer, but you can also take out both. So let's look at one more example here before it gets to the practice. So again, we took out a variable. Then we took out an integer. Now let's look at it where you got to take out both. Okay, so I see the 18 and the 8, so I need the biggest number divides into both of those. So my first thought is 2, right, because they're both even. But let's think about the other numbers that also divide into 8, just to make sure there's not a number bigger than that. So 8 divides into 8, but 8 doesn't divide into 18, so that's not going to work. It has to divide evenly. There's no decimals here. Now, what else? 4. Well, 4 divides into 8, but 4 does not divide into 18. So the only number in terms of an integer we can take out is 2. Now, how much variable do they both have in common? They both have p. Remember, this is like a p to the 1. If you still need to write that in to remind yourself, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. So that's what we have here, 2p. All right, so now let's divide. 8 divided by 2 is 4. P squared divided by p, remember when you ask to divide, you subtract with the exponents. Negative 18 divided by 2, negative 9. And then the p over p cancels, so we get 2p and then 4p minus 9. Okay, so in that case, we didn't just take out a variable, we didn't just take out an integer, we took out both. Okay? All right, so if you can do these ones, then you're in great shape. So from here, your asynchronous work is then to do screens 8 through 12, and then you want to start on our Delta Math assignment for Unit 9, and you should go through and try to do the very first row. All right, hope this helps.